Callan Services National Unit was founded in 1990. At the same time, some 60,000 children with disabilities remained outside the PNG education system. The government was aware of the situation but had no remedy. Brother Graham Leach, a Christian brother, was also aware of the situation. He had a plan. That plan, which is now being followed, is simple, clear and direct. Start with the nation's future teachers. Help them to be aware of the situation. Give them the opportunity to be present to real people who have a disability, and at the same time introduce them, as well as seasoned classroom campaigners, to the special skills a teacher needs to work effectively in an inclusive education classroom.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Working with the mainstream government and church ministries, and with the support of the Christian Blind Mission, the work of Callan Services rapidly developed over the following 17 years. For the work of Callan Services to be effective, Callan needed an operational base so it could effectively sustain itself and train others. Offices and basic operational areas for its expanding staff were needed.
Want him something, you plan with him. Start inside the book. Man driving car. Want him more. Mountain, what?
Besides mental health, I work also with the children of a settlement, so-called dump settlement, but their name is Walu. I would prefer calling them by Walu than the dump. I work with the student teachers, and we take these children, about 17 students, teachers, working with these children. We take them out here every Saturday mornings and work with them for an hour. This is to identify or diagnose any disabilities, depression or something, so that's why we work with these particular children.
Most of the old people have died from minor diseases such as stomach swelling up and knee problems, arthritis, because the living condition here is very poor. Stephen has been living here for 30 years, and over that period of time, he had witnessed the development of the land. Young people around here cannot go to their family village because living conditions there are completely different. They can't settle.
A centre was established for a dual purpose. One, to aid teachers acquire low-tech skills for screening children with vision and hearing impairment. 2, establish a centre with more high-tech human and physical resources.
In the rear of the building there has been an extension which is a special ear and eye clinic, and student teachers can come and do training so that they acquire skills in screening children for vision and hearing impairments.
Ear specialists also came, ENT, ear, nose and throat specialists, they came. So we underwent some theory sessions, and that's how I know how to use different machines.
I think she has the conjunctivitis or keratitis, inflammation of the cornea.
The Callan Services, from what sort of the level of education qualifications they have, they are trained to help the people, especially from the villages who don't have the chance of receiving health services from big government hospitals, big mission hospitals. So Callan Services are doing it by going out, outreaches, seeing those people, going through schools, screening the school children.
I really want to serve my people of this nation, so I've decided to come and work here. I just applied and they got me, and I'm really interested with the job I'm doing. Working as a technical assistance, with Benjamin Zoni, my counterpart's assistance, helping me a lot in all this.
I'm a staff here at the Rural E&I Services. We look after the technical aspect of the equipment. We do calibration and ear molds. We produce ear molds and hearing aids.
Working closely with tertiary education institutions continues to be of major significance. Here we have students from the University of Goroka working with students who have a disability. These young people are empowering others. Also, while in the process of gaining experience by applying practical skills, they are also obtaining, for their own futures, nationally recognised accreditation.
My name is Ruth and I attend the University of Goroka taking special education, and I'm planning to go back to my own province in Chimbu to take children who are in special need, especially blind and deaf children, to help them and to teach them in their weak areas.
3 years ago, the university, in step with PNG government policy, appointed James Iwa. James Iwa is a former CBR worker with Callan Services, and his specialist university education in England was sponsored by the Christian Brothers.
My name is James Iwa. I'm the lecturer for special ed at University of Goroka. The purpose of us bringing the students here for home contact is just to get students hands-on experience, getting the feel of working with children with special needs. And this is to promote government policy on inclusive education.
The workings of Callan Services in PNG are intricate, but basically very simple. After essential awareness building, Callan Services seeks to empower concerned local people who are willing and able to help others with a disability to respond appropriately. It endeavours to harness talents of those concerned people and, where possible, to provide ongoing training and the opportunity to gain accreditation for any knowledge and skill gained. These three areas are closely interconnected and supported through special education resource centres that have been set up throughout PNG. Callan particularly welcomes the many wonderful people who have come to PNG through organisations such as the Christian Blind Mission, and who are not only willing to give expert service, but are keen to share their expertise in such a way that they empower the local people. PNG will benefit from specialists like Dr. Jacques Darman and Patrick Moon, a dedicated and resourceful physiotherapist, long after they have gone.
I came to Papua New Guinea with the idea that, of course, I have to transfer all my skills. In the beginning, I've always thought and aimed to have a local counterpart, and also to transfer my skills and work with local people.
Dr. Jacques Darman, using his skillful surgeon's hands, restores clear sight to over 2,000 people each year. That's 80% of all the eye surgery performed in PNG. While at the same time, and as a direct consequence of his work, he builds up around him a team of local medical professionals. Before the end of the year, in collaboration with Callan Services, Dr. Jacques plans to share his skills relating to short incision cataract surgery with the national ophthalmologists. Dr. Jacques, originally from Cameroon, trained in Germany for 17 years prior to volunteering for PNG. His appreciation of Callan Services is clear.
Without the Callan Services, I think I will not be here in Papua New Guinea.
Community-based rehabilitation workers seek out and support students who may otherwise miss out on a formal education program. Establishing the necessary physical and educational environment for a student with a disability can be challenging in a day school. The demands are even greater in a residential school. Mr. Francis Remio, principal of St. Mary's Secondary School in Vunakanau, states clearly the important role Callan Services is playing in PNG.
The significance of Callan Services is very important in the inclusive education, if you like.
This residential secondary school is keen to provide for students like Pius Garup, who is a paraplegic. Nevertheless, as Francis Remio sees it, some shortcomings need to be addressed.
We have Pius Garup here, who is a paralytic, come to the school at the beginning of the year, and I got a shock of my life. What am I going to do? And how is he going to go to the toilet? And so on. And because of a short notice, we had to do little things around the school to be able to have him in school and have him enjoy life as everybody else in the school, given the fact that he's got that disability. I would very much like to work with Callan Services, and if Callan Services can provide us the help we need in terms of specification in ramp building and modification of facility to suit their need, and we can take care of the other parts, the other stuff to do with the learning and so on, the teaching.
Regardless of the challenges and the strains, due to a general chronic financial shortage within this school, Pius has been successfully initiated into a happy, inclusive environment and is doing well. Inclusive education, now government policy since 1994, has been the goal of Callan Services since the late 80s. Students who have received now believe they can give.
I want to be a teacher because I wanted to be a role model to people with disabilities.
Callan Services started with a close link between inclusive education and community-based rehabilitation. This close link has remained. In the area of CBR, that is community-based rehabilitation, Callan's work is extremely varied. Workers are trained to use the level of skill they have obtained in responding appropriately to a wide range of disabilities. Work of Callan Services in this area has certainly gained them numerous grateful supporters.
Callan Services has done so much to my child by providing basic physical exercise for my disability child, and they've got a very good established organization down there, and their staffs are very committed.
There are times when a community-based rehabilitation worker, under initial guidance of a specialist physiotherapist such as Patrick Moon, can accomplish extraordinary results. What Joe Bundo has been able to accomplish with Ben Gumba is a good example. What is shown in this reenactment took place over many months. Joe found Ben lying helpless in his village home. Ben was completely paralysed with TB of the spine. He'd been that way for many months. Ben's family had not known what to do. Joe carried him out into the open, putting into practice the skills he learnt. Joe followed this program. Ben Gumba's previously stationary limbs were gently encouraged to move. He learnt to lift his body off the mat. Once transfer skills were gained, a wheelchair was provided. Over many months, Ben was taught to stand. For support, his body was strapped in an upright position. The frame of an old truck was found. Parallel bars, constructed out of bush material, were skillfully used. Ben was slowly relearning to walk. The use of crutches followed. Finally, after many months, a few independent steps have now been taken. It's a work in progress. Those working in community-based rehabilitation at times can experience some startling results. The renewed sense of life in Matty Laddie, who is a paraplegic, is certainly startling.
Since I had this accident, it's been 6 years ago, this year was actually my year. I've seen light. This year was my first year after that course me and Paul attended about capacity building. When I came back, I just went out of myself. I forgot about my disability, and I went out visiting my friends again after 7 years. So it really gave me a different perspective about life. I thought that since I had this independence and I'm in a wheelchair, like I thought, I'm now, that's it for me. I've been denied, a life, living a life like my other friends, but through that course, it gave me a different perspective about life. That yes, there's life out there. There's a future for a person living in a wheelchair.